back again. It is Atlanta Discuss. Thank you, 7 continents of the world. Thank you, everybody. Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America. We are here every Friday. We come with a juicy topic. But like I've always told you, I was born in Nigeria. I have a soft spot for Nigeria. A lot is happening in Nigeria. The fact remains that the largest concentration of Black people on the planet is Nigeria. There are very, very genuine facts, facts that we can refer to that tells us that 1 out of every 6 Black person, statistics that shows us that 1 out of every 6 Black person in the world is a Nigerian. 1 out of every 4 sub-Saharan African is a Nigerian. So in a nutshell, Nigeria is the largest concentration of Black people on the planet. We cannot ignore it. The same way nobody can ignore India, you cannot ignore Nigeria. As third world country, Nigeria is acting behind schedule, far, far behind schedule. That's why we're going to talk about Nigeria again today. The topic is Vox Populi. You all know in Latin that means voice of the people. The people of Nigeria are right now, in the last 6-7 days, are complaining about bad governance. They want to end bad governance. We want to talk about why the people are complaining, what the people are complaining about. But here, we don't just bring anybody here. We bring people that took power, people that have earned their epaulets, people that that apart from whatever they do, whether politically, whether in any industry, they have their own source of income. They're opinionated, they are self-made people. That's why today we have another very interesting and erudite guest. I call him Mr. Macaroni. And you also call him Mr. Macaroni. Mr. Macaroni, welcome to Atlanta Discuss.
You are doing well. You are doing well. Thank you. Hi. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. As you all know, his name is Debo Adedayo. So let me introduce him the way we do, because it's his first time. I'm sure he's going to come back again in the future, but then we don't have to do all the introduction. Debo is an actor, he's a content creator, performer, producer, film, television, radio, stage, and in online media. He's everywhere. He does this satire that reverberates with whatever is happening in Nigeria. And I'm going to add to all that, he's also an activist, He fights for the people and he says it the way he really is. Debo is from Ogun State, just like me. And he resides in Lagos, where he started his journey in acting in 2012. He obtained his BA in theater arts from Redeemers University, where he also served as president of the student union, which explained why he's an activist. So the journey to media content creation started for Debo in 2019, and he has never looked back, rapidly gaining recognition. Later that year, he has become a genuine self-made celebrity. I really have on that self-made man, with a following of 20 million people and a reach of 200 million across all social media platforms. In case some of you have forgotten, 200 million the population of Nigeria. So that means when you combine Punch, Guardian, and all those papers together, they don't have the much reach, So today, we're glad to have someone that have an extended reach, which is the whole idea. Before and beyond his online celebrity status, Debo Adedayo has established himself as a well-trained, hugely talented, and highly disciplined actor. He has displayed this quality in several credits on stage, television, soap opera, etc., etc. Mr. Macaroni, as well known, is not alien to Nigeria. Welcome to Atlanta Discuss, Mr. Macaroni.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm a big fan. I follow your work. So, I have to say this. Keep up doing what you're doing. We appreciate you. We love it. So, in our tradition, we don't waste time. We go for the jugular.
Yes.
You're in America now.
Yes.
Now, I want to know, have you jackpot too? Have you left Nigeria?
Never. I cannot leave. I can never abandon Nigeria.
Really? Okay,
as a matter of fact, this is my first time out of Nigeria in 31 years.
Oh, wow.
I've never traveled out of Nigeria. Okay, the closest I've been out of Nigeria is Cotonou, and that was I'm trying to remember, I think 2013, 2012 or 11, thereabout, when I went to Odegbe, North American University in Cotonou, just about few months I was there and I came back to Nigeria. So that's the only time I ever left Nigeria. But then, it's very close. but this is the first time I'm traveling out of the country, and I've been here since July 12th. I'm here for the International Visitors Leadership Program by the State Department. It is an exchange program, where leaders come together from different African regions, especially. This project is advocacy for social media, so it's still crucial to what we're talking about. So the project title is a regional project for Africa, and it's advocacy through social media. So I was the one nominated by the US Embassy to represent Nigeria in the discourse. So I've been here since July 12th, like I said. We were at Washington, D.C. From Washington, D.C., we went to Miami. From Miami, we went to Wisconsin, Milwaukee. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, then we went to Los Angeles, California. So I finished the program officially 2-3 days ago. And of course, I'm in Atlanta now because my brother is here. I came to say you are doing well to my brother.
Yeah. Well,
So yes, that's why I'm here.
I can add to it that even the Kutoni, you never left Nigeria because some of us think it's a 37 state of Nigeria.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I've been following a lot of stuff you've been doing, and I remember during the NSAS trial, there was a video I watched that the police arrested you, they detained you,
Yes.
and beat you up and all
Yes.
that. Can you tell
Yes.
us in a nutshell what you really went through during that period?
Yeah. So this was after the NSAS protest was 2020 October. This was what happened was in February 2021, and that time I wasn't even actually, I didn't know about that. I didn't know people were going to go out that day. I simply just saw online. Well, yes, it was in the news that people would go out to protest against the reopening of the toll gate. The plan was that they were going to reopen the toll gate that day. So few people had said, no, this is not going to stand and we're going to protest against it. I was following closely. The truth is, I don't think I've ever asked anyone to come out to protest apart from NSAS. You will find me there, I will join, but you would not necessarily hear me say, oh, everybody come out, because sometimes also I want to observe and I want to know the situation of things at the moment. So that announcement was there, oh, people are going to protest, come out, but people did not go out. But later in the day, I now started to see that some people were being arrested, they were being harassed and brutalized at the toll gate. That's February 2021. And I was actually filming just 5 minutes away from the toll gate. I was filming the content. So I was sick, but I was monitoring the situation. I said, no, this is unfair. That at least let somebody go there. Maybe someone with a voice, someone that the people know, that the country knows. I cannot go there and you say you don't know who I am. So maybe if I go there, at least they will understand that, look, nobody's trying to cause violence or anything. People are just trying to complain, and they want those complaints to be heard. So I got there, and some police officers walked up to me and asked, oh, what was I doing here? And that got me upset. What do you mean, what am I doing here? It's my state. What do you mean? So I'm here because I can be here if I want to be here. But that's beside the point. I'm here to, check what is going on to fellow Nigerians like myself, who I'm seeing online that have been beaten and been harassed by you guys. What's going on? So before I know one or two arguments here and there, they put me in the Black Maria, along with some that were already there, so they took us to their station at Adekunle, and it was there, so first they started to call themselves that, well, Macaroni and one be, just meaning Macaroni is here, he's right here, we have gotten him,
big fish, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. The problematic guy. So different police officers from different places. I don't know where they were coming from. They just started coming. But they looked more like members of the disbanded SARS. Disbanded in quotes. So I think they had, of course, personal agenda against me for whatever reason. Of course, because they maybe believe that I was one of those that stood against the police brutality by the NSAS protest in October 2020. So they started to beat me, kick
Oh,
me,
wow.
torture me. I was stripped naked, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
So in fact, because I always say that what people saw online is not even up to a quarter of what they really did to me in
Oh,
there,
wow.
So they just wanted to threaten me, like victimize. No, victimize is not the word. They wanted to traumatize me, just so that I'm unable to maybe step out again or lend my voice to issues affecting society, So they just wanted to intimidate me, right? So, but they did all of that with a lot of cruelty, because I was dehumanized, right? So that happened, and I think the DPO had enough of it because, of course, he was in the know of what was going on. In fact, it was not until they wanted to take me to a cell where hardened criminals were, and some of the officers already told those ones to, just cut me and do with me whatever it is that they please. That was when the
Oh,
DPO stepped in and said, "Oh
oh,
no, don't do that because then he might be held responsible if
oh, wow.
anything like that happened, or if something just happened, something went wrong." So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
pretty much that was what happened
Oh,
in
wow.
detention with the
Oh, wow.
officers. Well, I did tell them that you see, I don't blame them that, but I just wish and hope that they could do better because at the end of the day, they should realize that I'm not fighting for myself. This fight is for us. You
True.
understand? And we don't say what we say or do what we do because we hate you, the police, or those in government. We do that because as members of the society, you owe us the responsibility of service. You've sworn an
True.
oath to serve
True.
the people. So the least you have to do is to respect that oath and deliver on your promises, to the Nigerian people. Because at the end of the day, if the society is better, if everything works according to the way it should, you would be in better houses. You will have better finances to take care of your family. Your
Mm.
children need to go to school. People around you need to be comfortable. Things will be better. Your way of life would improve. So I just said that to them, even while they did all that they did. That
Oh,
oh,
wow.
yeah. So
Damn.
pretty much that was it.
That's brave, man. Were you scared for your
Yeah.
life? Do you think they could have killed you or something?
I actually that incident
Mm.
actually gave me more strength. I
Mm.
think after that particular incident, I was no longer scared. Maybe before I used to be afraid that
Mm.
sorrow, the way I always speak
Uh,
up and on issues. So maybe one day they should not go and carry someone and just shoot someone or maybe my family. But after what they did, you know, I was just like, okay, she will not really have is this everything? Okay, no, well, I'm not my family.
what's the
So
big deal?
so I think that kind of toughened me
Okay.
up.
So they're emboldening you. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they
Let's go to
actually did.
something else. Yeah. Elections
Yes,
in Nigeria. Atlanta discuss is a discussion. We also have an opinion, so feel free to say the way you are. It's a
absolutely,
no bad interaction. Elections
absolutely.
in Nigeria in the past, the way we see it, has been free but never fair, right? Right
Correct.
now, they are not free, they are not fair,
Mm,
and I saw what happened in Kenya recently, and we also what happened in Sri Lanka some months back. We saw
mhm.
what happened in Bangladesh just 2 or 3 days ago. Do you think the Nigerian people are tolerating too much from their leaders?
We have always tolerated too much from our leaders.
Mm.
Before now, I've always said this, and I'll say it again here,
Mm.
that I think the Nigerian society is cursed with
Mm.
a survival of mentality, a mentality survival rather, a mentality of survival. The average Nigerian will say to you that, oh, more, if you feel survive for Nigeria, you feel survive anywhere. It's not,
Mm.
for me, it's not really something to be proud of. because the system has conditioned you to just survive. So Nigerians are not actually living, they're just every day of our lives is just like we're trying to survive. So, and that buttresses the point that we have been tolerating too much, because we live in a society that there's zero consequences for actions. You find people who loot and steal public funds, still being rotated in the system. So you hardly find that anyone is made to pay for their crimes, and it goes to show how much the people have just accepted. In fact, you hear some people just say, that is, if the person is working, if they like, let them be topping the money, but if they are working. So Nigerians have been conditioned to accept the barest minimum, and poverty has been used as a weapon to facilitate or to keep that in check, just to keep the people in that condition, to keep that condition in check. So, and I always say that because of this survival mentality, I don't think Nigerians would ever be ready, because the average Nigerian is just ready to accept whatever it is that the government throws at them. So if they say fuel price, it will be increased times 300 or 200%, before they finish making the announcement, you already find people queuing for that fuel, just so that they can stock up. You understand? Just so that they can have enough. So now the question is not about affordability, about a particular class or society being able to afford that increment, even if it's by 300%. The question is it fair and is it just? But because, like I said, that condition where I don't want, let me just go and stock up. In fact, you'll find during most protests in the country, days before the protest, maybe 1 day or 2 days, or days before the protest, you just find Nigerians going to supermarket. They are stocking up the fridge, buying, so that whatever duration the protest is going to last for, they want to be able to cater for themselves for that period and know that I'm not going out I don't want wahala. So, these factors do not really help put the government in check. Because if the government is aware that the people can stand up at any given time and question them and demand for better, demand for good governance, and demand for their rights, the government will not feel so comfortable stepping on the people anyhow they like, just as they wish. But just because, of that survival mentality, I think Nigerians have tolerated enough and might continue to tolerate enough, because Nigerians are not ready to make sacrifice. We have people that have made sacrifices. They were killed and sometimes are forgotten. Some others that are not forgotten, they just talk about them once upon a time. But Baba, he fought for the people when this man was alive. He spoke up. He spoke for the people. He defended the people. Nigerians would just love to tell those tales. But individually, is the entire, even if not the entire population, a majority of Nigerians ready to make the sacrifice? I don't think so. And that's why I think the government will continue to play on that, because they know that the people are not necessarily ready to demand for better.
Interesting. Another way to look at it, another way I look at it is this. I think I've said it in the past, and I keep saying it, and I'm starting to think, and I want to believe that it does look like we're inherently dishonest as a people. You understand? Yes. Because when we condone all those things, in my opinion, it's a reflection of who we are. You understand? Because you go to an average church, people steal money, they're front row sitters. If you look at, let me give you an example. If you look at the Catholic Church, when Pope John Paul II was Pope, that Pope was from Poland. The few years he was there, not even he was there for a long time, but within that period he was there, he helped pump money into Poland's political activity. And Poland went from communist to a democratic country when Lech Walesa, became president back then. Poland is better off for him. The entire Latin America, from Mexico, Peru, El Salvador, they all have the influence of the Catholic Church, staying true to power one way or the other. Now, in our case, our Islamic leader, our Christian leader, everybody speaking from both sides of their mouth. And for people that even poor, everybody thinks that there's hope that one day I'll get there, one day I'll be local government chairman, I'll be like his pillow, I'll be a chancellor. So I think, in my opinion, that it's just a reflection of who we are. What do you think? Do you agree with what I'm saying?
I absolutely agree. Government is a product of society, so it is a function of the type or the kind of people that we are. Look, you're not wrong at all. And we as the people need to be honest with ourselves. I always say that, yes, while I will still always hold government accountable, and why I also believe that the people must also continue to hold government accountable, the people also have a huge role to play in the transformation of the country. Absolutely. It's not going to be the government alone. We also have our parts to play. Nigeria thrives on a system of corruption. You can hardly get anything done in the country without being morally corrupt. And it starts from your immediate environment, your immediate your own surroundings. To get your driver's license, there's magbo one way or the other. You have to pay. You have to boycott the system. Is it getting your passport? Is it NYSC? What do they call it? Posting. They say you should go to this place. You want to come to Lagos, or you want to go to Anambra, or you want to go to Kano, where is home, where you feel is your home.
The settlement culture.
There is a foundational problem of corruption within the system, and until that changes, because it is the people that already have that problem. When they get to government, they are not going to change. They are only going to get emboldened, because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So for someone that was naturally greedy or has already been embedded in that system of corruption, and for some reason, okay, you have this very nice pair of glasses, it is not yours, or maybe let's say you are looking at it from afar and you just love it, but you do not have the means to get it. So maybe you somehow just you don't have the access to it. You are just appreciating it from afar. But when you now get the power, when you find yourself in an office that gives you the power to somehow acquire these glasses without question, where nobody can hold you accountable and say, but you did not have these glasses before you came into this office. So how then is it possible for you to be able to get these glasses? The only thing that is enabling the new office holder to acquire these glasses by illegitimate means is because he has already been embedded in that foundational problem of corruption. So now he just sees the means to now take the glasses, and he would rather take it instead of saying, oh, look, no, that is not the reason why I'm here. I'm here to work. It is not because of these glasses that I have been admiring. So most of the time, it is the same people in society who say, no, it is our people. It's the same brother that you know, a one that's brought up from one in your society, and then was doing it low-key. They would contribute money in our association or for the community, and the chairman of the association or the community will take some small change and say, oh, we are using it for this. Meanwhile, he's just keeping it for himself. When he becomes president or he becomes governor, the purse is larger. So the funds he has access to is more. So it is, I strongly agree that the change starts with us. But at the same time, while we are doing that, we still must let government understand that they owe the people, yes.
Yeah. I mean, after all, corruption is everywhere, but everywhere else, they are still delivering. But they don't do nothing.
Right. So then that is even another thing to consider, because you find that, there's so much milk and honey in the land. but for some reason it's not just flowing. Only a very few have access to it, So it has been colonized by the very few.
About 3 episodes ago, my guest was Adedayo Momodu, and the
Amazing.
topic was where are the elders in the room, And why I made him my guest was that, is right now he's speaking truth to power, you understand? And I think I actually respect that because I know he has always been a friend to the current president. And by Nigerian standard, it shouldn't be someone criticizing Tinubu. It should be looking at what is going to benefit and all that. Right. So I put to him that question, where are the elders in the room? And the way I threw the question to him was, Nigeria has a lot of former presidents alive. We have General IBB, General Abdulsalam, we have General Gowon, we have General Obasanjo. That's a lot of elders. Chief Emeka Yoku, former Secretary General of UN, Commonwealth is still alive. General Danjuma, we can go on. And a lot of fathers, GO, this GO, that Islamic leader, that. Despite all those elders in the room, why is the ship of state still rudderless? So now I'm using this to channel to my question, because I know you have me in arts, you're an artist, you're an actor, and I know you must have been a fan of Professor Wole Soyinka when you were young,
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure you will have read some of his books. There's no way you will not read some of those books too. So now, Prof, I mean, by so many standards, I've disappointed a lot of people and all that, So I go back to the question: where do you think are the elders, the likes of Wole Soyinka? Why are they not saying the truth? Well, I know some of them are saying it, but people like that will so revile, why is it so difficult for when push came to shove or push has come to shove? Why is it so difficult for people to say? Is it that everybody is compromising the land?
Well, people would always say what is one of two things. People would either say what benefits them at the time, or they will say what they believe is the truth at the time, according to them. How it is to me might not be how it is to another person. As far as Professor Wole Soyinka is concerned, I'm not just a fan of him. I admire his works. I've always admired his works. As a matter of fact, my teacher in school is Professor Ahmed Yerima, who I still have a very strong relationship with. Professor Ahmed Yerima is a foremost playwright and theater director. As a matter of fact, he was former Director General of the National Theater. He was former Artistic Director of the National Troupe and former Director General of the Abuja Carnival. Then they would call him the 3-star General. And I was so honored that he was my teacher in school. And he was not just my teacher, he was like a father to me. He still is because we still communicate. Now, where am I going to? The teacher of Professor Ahmed Yerima is Professor Wole Soyinka. So, Prof is the teacher. So again, even in my school, there were some of my lecturers that were inspired or lectured by Professor Ahmed Yerima. So Professor Wole Soyinka is like a teacher that taught the teacher that taught my teacher. And for theater culture, that's just is something you hold very dearly. That's just so beautiful. So absolutely. I still strongly respect him. The only thing I can like I said, the only thing I'll say to that is he has a right to his opinions. Do I agree with everything? Absolutely not. There are some things that I do not agree with. Because I strongly believe that when we criticize, we have to criticize across board. And someone like me can relate, because when they talk about, a particular sector or a particular group of political supporters are maybe toxic or, what have you, I say it cuts across. As a matter of fact, there's no political party that has not insulted me in terms of their supporters, from Labour Party to APC to PDP, for different agendas. You understand? So I see everybody with their own particular leaning and only wanting to speak to the side that favors their leaning, because whatever you can accuse whether it's Labour Party or Obedience supporters of. You can also accuse PDP, APC supporters of. You can also accuse PDP supporters of. Now, is it all of them? Absolutely not. So, but there are some people that are specialized trolls in these parties. Some others are objective. Some others look at issues, and that has always been my advocacy as far as political parties are concerned. I said, let us discuss issues, and let's be civil in our discourse with civility. You do not necessarily need to start to curse people or do whatever it is because they are not favoring your own political leaning. So, and that is my point. So when you see such behavior, it is okay to criticize it. But when you also see it happening within your own party or within the people that you support, you should also address it. You understand? And in respect to the question of where the elders are where they have always been. Because the truth is most of them have been in power for so long or have been in close proximity to power. You understand? I think it is more of an indictment on the young people if we continue to rely on those that have been there and in a way are still there to direct the affairs of the nation. Because they have done it and they still want to continue to do it. So, but when you look at statistics, the young people in the country are definitely more than these elders that we are looking at or that we are talking about.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's always a question for me, when I engage the youth and I'm asking, what is the problem? But I've stopped asking that question because if you look at the last elections, the youths came out. The youths did come out because I know the type of work we did. See, after the NSAS protest and after everything that happened, I was one of those that said, look, because not every time we'll be coming out to fight and to say protest. You see these numbers that we have, we must translate them into political votes. And we already know the system. Oh, yes, the electoral system, is rigged. There would not be transparency, this. But I said still, we must be involved. And you can see that in the last elections. You can compare the youth turnout of the last elections to the previous ones and see the huge, gap. So for me, fundamentally, I worry not about the elders in the room because sometimes even when they eventually come out to speak, they are speaking according to their own political leaning. Most of the time, not necessarily. Say again?
And then from both sides of their mouths.
Yes, they are speaking according to their, because we have so many examples. People that have, said, oh, this party is good. Then tomorrow they come back again and say, oh, the party is bad. They say, oh, this person that wants to be whether governor or president or senator, he's a very bad person. This is what he did when I was a president, when I was in this company, blah, blah, blah. Tomorrow you find them defending the same person that they said is bad for the society. So the elders will always speak to their circle, to their own immediate circle and how it favors them. The bulk of the responsibility should be on the young people who so desire change in society.
Am I right to say that during the last election you supported Peter Obi, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. What were your reasons?
Well, I was very clear in the last election. And I said, out of this, there were three major candidates, if we're going to be honest. Yes. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and former Governor Peter Obi. And looking at the three of them, I said, for me, the person that checks. I mean, it's no sense, just to put that on record. You know, I've always said that there's no Messiah that's going to come and save Nigeria. The work is still amongst ourselves. Yes. So it's not to say that he's the Messiah in the sense, oh no, but for me, the person that seemed most qualified in terms of all major qualities, you know, especially when you talk about health wise, you talk about a public servant being prudent, which now, and if you look at the situation of things now, you understand why we needed someone with prudence to be at the affairs of things in the country, you know. So, like I was saying, I just checked the person that seemed most capable to be president amongst the big three. And the person that checked that box for me was Peter Obi. And that was why I said, this is the person that I'm going to support. I refused to campaign for him because I made it clear that I do not campaign for political office holders. But I can say that for me, the person that I want to vote for, but what I have seen is so.
Well, I agree with you because here we supported Peter Obi too, and our reasons are not too far from your own. I personally, and at the editorial level, the conclusion was that we needed somebody that would just come in and cut the cost of governance. You know, we felt the cost of governance was too high, and like you said, we are all vindicated today. The cost of governance is humongous. Is just abysmally treated. People spend money.
It is a betrayal to the people, you know, that for whatsoever reason still believe that either President Bola Tinubu or maybe it was Atiku, whoever could do the work. Right now, what is going on in the country is a betrayal to those people that still had faith in the running of this administration, as it were, if this administration were to come to power as they did. You know, because what is leadership? Leadership is first service, then it is sacrifice and selflessness. Through discipline, integrity, and accountability to the people that you have sworn to serve. Anything short of that is fraud. So I do not understand how you would tell the people to be patient and that the people should relax and that the people should bear the pains and the struggles for a limited time, you know, while you are renovating maybe a vice presidential lodge for over 20 billion, or while you are pumping money for jets or pumping money. You cannot ask the Nigerian people to make sacrifices that you yourself are not ready to make. If, like I said, all of this is not coming, when the people speak to these issues, they do not speak from a place of hatred. They're just saying that you have said you can do this thing. And they have accepted that, okay, you are there. The least that the people expect is that the government is sympathetic to the plight, to the pains and the struggle of the people, and that the government shows preparedness to make those hard sacrifices, from the leadership in the Senate to the leadership in the House to the leadership in the executive, everywhere. You need to show certain commitments that are, look, if not 3 cars that they used before, now one we fit do for now. If your wardrobe allowance was 100 million naira before, you will have to manage so amount now, because we are asking the people to also manage. But when the people do not see you making that sacrifices, how then? When the people do not see you making those sacrifices, rather, how then do you expect them to trust and believe you?
I think what even makes it worse is that the bulk of this money is they are borrowing it.
It was
It's
the
borrowed money.
same thing you just said is what we were saying yesterday. That is, it will have been even more reasonable if the money was there. Is that the money is actually our own? But this is borrowed money. So you are borrowing money to fund lifestyle that the country cannot afford.
All right. So let's try and okay, before we go to the end bad governance, the protest and all that, let me ask you this. Are you surprised that the Tinubu administration is going through this trajectory? I am not. I'm not surprised all this is happening. Seriously, I'm not. Are you surprised?
I'm a bit surprised because in all honesty, I didn't think it would be this bad.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, like I said, I made my choice. I knew who I wanted to vote for, But again, when President Tinubu was announced as winner and when he was sure that he was definitely going to be president, in my head, I just thought, okay. I mean, I'm not expecting anything. I'm not, because, and it will not even just be for him alone. When you tell the other person, I don't expect much from politicians because, like I said, there is no system of accountability and there's no consequence for action in the society. So when you already have a system like that, where those that commit certain crimes are not held to account and do not pay and do not bear the consequences for their actions, you have enabled such society to crime, and you have then enabled it to irresponsibility. So you have politicians that are reprehensible, that are unwilling and unable to do what is right simply because they know that they would not be held to account. So I naturally do not expect much. So I just thought that, okay, if at least it won't be bad than what we're coming from. That's okay, okay. At least, like I said, I wasn't expecting, but that at least can be bad. So to now see that it is this way. I don't know.
Now let me tell you why I'm not surprised, right?
Yes.
The more that manner he emerged, there was no major debate.
Absolutely not.
In America,
absolutely not.
You want to run for that kind of office 2 years before time, you're already going from podium to podium, telling people,
Yes.
So,
yes.
Then if you look at the election proper, the way he emerged, Shagari, I think, had, 47% of the total vote at that time. And they contested it seriously, 12 to 3rd and what have you. I think, I think it was the second term. That wasn't the 12 to 3rd one. Now, gentleman, this Tinubu that is in power now, and I think 37 or 38% of all the votes, and we're talking about maybe just 20-something million, 20 million votes. So how much it is not pan-Nigerian, the role INEC play. Remember, a lot of billions were voted for that election. More than
half of course.
More than half of that money was supposed to be for for technology. The technology was not allowed to work. So now,
as a matter of fact, in my voting area, in my polling unit, we finished the vote, we finished counting it, we counted everything. We had to ensure that it was the results were uploaded that same moment. When the official results were released, the numbers in my polling units were totally different because of course we all snapped it, we took pictures, they were totally different. And I made this post, I mentioned it online. They were totally different from what was released. So how do you expect the people to have a trust in such a system?
Good. Now guess what? The judiciary now bungled everything, the appeal court, the Supreme Court. So I think it was just logical for a man that spent so much money to get where I think it was just logical that he would feel above the law. He doesn't owe anybody anything.
Yeah, but why I said I was even still thinking that it wouldn't be this bad was, I had thought that, okay, at least, yes, you are now there. Even if it's something you've always wanted, you are now there. The very least, irrespective of, yes, the way everything went, totally another conversation for another day, and you can bring out 101 issues from the process, but you are finally there. What would be the legacy that you would leave? So that was just what was in my head, that at least there should be some consolation for the Nigerian people.
Even after you saw the ministerial list, I mean, the last thing.
It was from there that I knew we were going to be having problems.
So
anyway, because I see how long it took for that to also come up.
So you say so. I mean, when you say people like Bagudu that I think it was on U.S. sanction for embezzlement of Abacha money or something like that. Matawale, who as governor, you don't know whether he's the one sponsoring the bandit or the bandit is the one sponsoring him, was made minister for defense. And, you can go through that list that was most abysmal, considering the armada of quality we still have in this country, despite the corruption. So let's go to end bad governance in Nigeria. Let me put this to you. Do you think the protest has been a success?
Well, any protest that starts should always have a reason for the commencement of that protest. Then what are the objectives of the protest? If the laid out objectives of the protest have been met, then you can call it a success, even if it's one person that came out. If the objectives have been met. If they have not been met, then it wouldn't be a success. So I would personally not claim that I know the objectives of the protest, because I was already in the United States anyways when I heard that there would even be a protest. And like I said, before, after EndSARS, I would still step out for any protest. I was out for the February protest. After that was 2021, the one where I was arrested. The June 12th protest, I was out. There was still one other one I was out. Since 2020, there is no year that I've in October that I have not stepped out, for the remembrance. Just the Lekki massacre, the toll gates incident. There's no year that I have not stepped out. So that has still always happened. But I would never just say, oh, everybody come out, because I don't want it to seem like people are being appealed to come out, or people are being influenced, rather, not intimidated. Maybe people are being influenced to come out. It should be a communal thing. So, and that's how I genuinely believe protests should begin. It has to be organic. The EndSARS protest was very organic. It was very organic. Even as much as I said before EndSARS, we never really had to say, oh, everybody come out to protest. So it was just, people just felt the need to speak up to that particular societal ill. So for this particular one, if I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't know the laid out objectives of the protest. So I wouldn't be able to say if it was a success or not. Where if I were in Nigeria, would I have joined the protest? Frankly, I don't know. And this is what I always say also, because February 21 protest, the one where I was actually arrested, my dad had called me that morning that Debo, my mom had called me also that Debo, I hope you're not stepping out. And I categorically told them actually that I wasn't going anywhere. I just had to be on set. I was going to location and I'll be filming. So that I wasn't sure if I was going to step out. I was going to go film, but not go to protest. But seeing the news, seeing what was happening, I said, no, I can't be here. This is happening and I will not go. So I would never just say, yes, I'm definitely going to be at the protest. So would I have been there? I do not know. But do people have the right to protest? Do the people have the right to complain? Absolutely, yes, all of the time.
I agree with you. I was just trying to read one of your former posts, and you said when there was an intervention, you said this is proof that protests are always peaceful with good intention until state-sponsored talks are sent to disrupt the protest. Yes. Something. And I think I agree with that. I
Absolutely.
think the protest has been very successful. I think it has even surpassed my own expectations. So,
Hmm.
yeah, and I mean, it just shows that people are hungry, and if people are very hungry. It's not rocket science. The price of food, and I mean, it's 40% inflation now. It's terrible. Anyway, that's the side. Do you think we have any lesson to learn from the Kenyans, the Nigerian youths?
Oh no.
Mm,
The Nigerian youths are not as cowardly as people would like to paint them.
I like
You
that.
know, if
Mm,
the Nigerian youths were cowardly, and NSAS would not have happened. NSAS
true.
happened,
Mm,
and it was a world. It was worldwide.
mm,
Everyone heard, everyone knew what was going on in
mm,
Nigeria. You know, but it is again our issue. Like I said, is majorly that mentality that has already been embedded,
mm.
which is a survivor mentality, because
I don't
after
want
the
to die.
shootings, yes, that just kind of demoralized most people and just sort of reset. It was just like a factory reset. And people just and you would notice that most of the since then, people do not usually want to come out. And again, because most people have refused to educate themselves and be aware of the things that are actually happening in their environment. So most times, I don't want, I don't. The problems of the Nigerian youth would not be cowardice. It will mostly be deliberate ignorance. You know, not
Mm,
not going the extra mile to find out what exactly is happening in your society. Because
mm,
most of the time, too, the Nigerian youths allow government and their supporters to blackmail them emotionally,
mm,
to tell lies to them, and they just swallow it hook, line, and sinker. You know,
mm,
because they have refused to do those extra research and find the truth to these issues. Children need to come and tell you that attacks on protesters most of the time is politically motivated. Because why should I be the one to explain to you that you find a group of people carrying placards or waving leaves from trees and moving in a procession
mm,
peacefully, and all of a sudden it graduates into burning or destruction of properties, which is totally condemnable? Why do I need to tell you that there is a motivation, a political
mm,
motivation to it? And why do you think you need to believe that it is because you are exercising your right to protest that evil has happened? Meanwhile, there's an entire police institution or security institution
mm,
who is supposed to protect the lives and properties of the people. And then you find out that the people that are walking and singing, processing peacefully, have more security presence in abundance than places where properties are actually being destroyed.
mm,
So the places where crimes are actually being committed is left bare. There's no officer there
mhm,
making arrests and saying, "Oh no, this is not protest, this is not what they are doing there."
mm,
Look at where peaceful protesters are marching and singing. How can you not differentiate? So why do I need to spell out the difference
mm,
for the average youth? So you have in summary, we don't have no lessons to learn. I think the
mm,
people from Kenya, not to take away from the incredible work that the young people are doing,
mhm,
but it's just that we have done it. We have made the move. We have expressed ourselves so many times, and we will continue to do so. Again, like I said, when you said the protest has been successful, yes, because what did I say? What I said was, if the objectives of the protest have been met, even if it's
mhm,
one person that comes out, the protest
mhm,
has been a success, because the entire idea, if your objective is the government must hear us and listen to our complaints that this is what we are going through, and maybe make some changes towards this, towards that, and that is done. Even if it's one person, again, like I said, that steps out, it has been achieved. I think what we just need to do, the lesson for ourselves, I don't know if it's Kenya that is giving us that lesson, but I think what I can say should be our own lesson is to educate ourselves. And not allow the divisive politics to separate us, because the people that so benefit from politicians will continue to engage these tactics, tribalism, tribal bigotry, religion. They will continue to use these factors to divide the people. So if we do not educate ourselves and stay together, then that will, the division will always happen. It will always occur.
Absolutely. Well, one of the reasons why I said it has been a success is that it was reported that the SSS, that's what you call the DSS, some military and policemen, a statement was issued by Nigeria Labour Congress, that their head office was ransacked and all that. And they were accused of giving information to protesters. In my opinion, I think that means that government is probably feeling the heat. My second pointer was there was some video that was posted on the president's Twitter account of a very old speech he made, and it was posted, I think, on the presidency handle and the president's own handle. And the man popularly known as Adedayo came out and denied I expect that, But I think during Galile and Bayer might not be agreeing on so many things. So I think to a large extent, they're feeling the heat. The final one is during Galile came out and said, yes, now the president is going to cut costs on his international travel, reducing the number of people he's taking. The VP will do the same. The first lady will do the same. They were only talking human numbers, not financial numbers. So that, in my opinion, whether they practice it or not, shows that, for some reason, they are feeling the heat, and that's a lot, you understand? So that's why I think it is a success, Unfortunately, the NLC, I think, have compromised a bit, but the people will have to fight for themselves if need be. But the bottom line is that people are hungry. Yes. There's nothing to be diplomatic about. The economic situation is abysmal. It is poor. Nigeria deserves better than that. The people deserve better. Nigeria is too rich. We
are too rich to be suffering. We are too rich to be suffering.
Yeah, I was with some guys from Namibia, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Botswana. We're just talking, and so I was in my normal fashion, like, one out of every 4 sub-Saharan African is a Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. Now they asked me, what does that portend to? Does that mean that technologically Nigeria is this? There's just a number of people that what does it really portend to? That yes, you are the largest economy in Africa, but today it's not so. Those guys are giving facts about Togo and Benin Republic in areas that were doing better than us, Botswana, Namibia, and all that. So yes, you have the population, but you're not. They now told me that India is 1.something billion, and they're doing what Nigeria called disadvantages. That's multi-ethnicity, multi-religiosity, and so on. India uses it as a disadvantage, and So my point really is that our case is bad, and so I'll put this to you now. What do you think we can do to get out of all this morass? Is there a way out of all this? But it's not looking good at all. It's not. I don't know. Yes. I don't know. I'm asking now. You're an intellectual. There's no doubt about it, John. I'm sure you have it. I don't know if you are ready to share it, but I do think that we are battered. We are battered almost beyond repairs. Because our debt now is it 120, 130 trillion now? Trillion. Over 100 trillion. And in 1 year of Mr. Tinubu, the debts are piling up, So all the top companies, even the oil-producing companies, are not feeling safe in Nigeria. They are reinvesting elsewhere, And even if we have a proper reset today, I don't know what the reset is, it will take us quite a while to get there. So what do you think is the way out of it? Is democracy the way? Because I heard some people say Africa should have their own system of democracy. It shouldn't be the American system or the British system, that we're different. We should find I don't know. There's a lot of confusion in the land. We can't go on like this, Debo. It should be
Yes,
aware.
yes, we can't. But is a function of uh, where I'm going to is this democracy topic, because yes, the democracy we have might not be as plain, as democracy should be, because democracy should actually be plain. Democracy should actually be transparent. The core of democracy is transparency, which is not necessarily what we have. Regardless, I don't think a shift from democracy there should be a shift from the democracy. Maybe talk about military regime
No,
or
that's not what
military
I'm saying. Yeah.
intervention, because definitely we might be complaining about this now, but who knows what the military is also going to come and do? I mean, we've seen their handiwork also in the past. So, I mean, well, maybe I didn't see much because I'm 1993, but at least I got up Akawe, and we hear history small. So, but what I honestly feel is the way out. There's one I might not really be able to say here because of it's deeply rooted, and I cannot present it fully now. So I don't want to just go into it that way. Yes, but it's still a point from what I've said before. The people need to be aware. The people need to understand what they own. Freedom doesn't come on a platter of gold. Because just like you have been saying, the leaders in power now have always been in power, or at least very close proximity to power. They're not going to just give it up because every time you want to, you are protesting. It is a continuous struggle. But a lot of people abandon the struggle on the way because, again, it is stressful. It is a very stressful struggle. Yes, because it's this same question we always have to keep asking ourselves: will things ever get better? We're just fighting and fighting. Will things actually get better? But the people have to search themselves and be aware. The people have to start to take responsibilities. Also, you need to start asking yourselves in your immediate environment what you're doing to make that your community better. And how many leaders in that your community are you holding to account? By the time there is local accountability, then there should be state accountability. And then there should be federal accountability. So we need to begin to hold ourselves responsible for actions. Only then would we have the moral compass in its comprehensiveness to hold those at the higher level accountable. I'm not saying we will not continue to hold them to account. I mean, I will continue to speak through the power, whether governor or president or whoever it is. But while we are doing that, we must also begin this change from our own immediate society, within our schools, within our religious establishments, whether it is the church or it's the mosque, within our places of work, within our estate communities. We need to begin to find solutions first to our immediate environment. Only then can we fully protect ourselves, because the people need protection. The people need protection, and the people are more united, the people are more protected in their unity. Because right now, it just seems like even though we are a lot, we are not a lot because of the division. So you find that group A has a different agenda and B and C, and there are different agendas flying everywhere, which makes it very easy for government to always neutralize most of the plans that the people have to actually deliver themselves. So before we begin to demand for freedom, the people need to be free themselves. Because I still think in the thinking of the people, that because of the mentality of survival, the people are still enslaved.
Absolutely. I mean, Mr. Tinubu, I've said it too in the past, that power is not served at like us. You know,
No, it's not.
power is not served at like us.
It's not.
You know, that's one reason why I said doesn't want anybody because you know, and he said that you have to grab it, run with
He
it.
said, grab it, run, and run with it.
This is exactly what he's doing. You know, and it's common knowledge that he spent a lot of money, so he must recoup his investment. You know, Debo, I really need to thank you for creating time. I know you're a very busy guy, but let me put this to you before you go. What message of hope do you have for the people of Nigeria? Yeah, now, I mean, I know you're young, but you're an elder. You're the front line of everything. You know, you have the coverage. You know, almost 400 million people have access to you on different platforms. So, you know, and they're going to see you again on Atlanta Discuss. And, you know, what message of hope do you have for Nigeria?
Nigeria is our own. That's the first thing I'll say. Nigeria is our own. Like I said, this is the first time I'm traveling out of Nigeria. This is the first time I'm out of Nigeria for this long. This is it's barely a month, you know. But latest Sunday now, I'm back in Lagos. I'm never running away from Nigeria because it is my own, and I will not allow anybody tell me that they have more rights to the country than I do. You could have sacrificed a lot in your time. It's fine. Allow the young people to also make those sacrifices. But to the young people, you will never be allowed to make the sacrifices if you are not showing that you are willing to make the sacrifices. So because it gets to a point, some of us that have made the sacrifice and are still making the sacrifices, because till now, I'm still making sacrifices. Till now, there are some jobs that I turned down, I will never take. Till now, there are some people I would never engage because I do not want to be compromised. Because I see the future. I'm thinking about the future. I want a Nigeria where I can train my own child here in Nigeria. I say, yes, you will make it in Nigeria. So, but if the people do not understand what they own, what is theirs, they will not value it. And I understand that it is tough. It's very difficult because when you think about Nigeria, the first thing you think about is the hardship and how difficult it is to make a living and be somebody in Nigeria. But it is the politicians or those in power bank on the hopelessness of Nigerians to cling on to power. So the more you are hopeless, the more it favors them. Because they want you to totally believe that you cannot make it, or that it is very difficult to make it. That is how they have weaponized poverty, such that the little they now throw and give to you, you accept it and survive. So the cycle keeps going and going that way. So my only appeal, or my only charge, will be that the people have to take what belongs to them. We have to own Nigeria and see Nigeria as our own and start to effect that change, like I said just now, within our society, within our immediate environment, so that we, the young people, should realize or at least bring fresh air into the system and say the way it has always been is not the way it's going to continue to be, and that we are going to come to do something different. So it is a charge for the people not to lose hope, not to give up, but to stand up, to be more involved. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of sacrifice. So the young people of Nigeria must be willing to make those sacrifices.
Fantastic. Debo has spoken. Mr. Macaroni has spoken like a painter. I agree with you. Yes. I mean, I will tell you that I know something will give eventually. Nothing lasts forever.
Yes.
If eventually when it gives, we hope it's for the better and not for the worse. But it's
Oh,
not
yes.
going to be like this forever.
Yes.
We've had military rule. I used to tell some of my old friends that, look, if Buhari did not overthrow Shagari, Shagari will have finished his 8 years. Possibly Awolowo also will have finished his 8
Right.
years. Okay, even if it's June 12th, let's come to June 12th and allow Abiola
Yes.
to have finished his 8 years. Somebody
Yes.
else will have rolled down. We'll have just
Yes.
moved. Possibly even if Israel and Co did not do what they did in 66,
Yes.
somebody else, even maybe Awo will have been allowed to do all the good things he had in mind.
Yes.
So that's the thing. So let's just hope that things change. The bottom line is this: the office of the citizen needs to be properly activated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
office of the
And the
citizen.
citizen also must be individually responsible for
Yes.
not just himself, but for other citizens. Because
Absolutely.
there's no denying that there are higher ranking citizens than some others. So
Absolutely.
those higher ranking citizens must be able to assist the lower ranking citizens such that their ideologies, their beliefs on how to make the country better, we are able to we're able to deliver that to the lower ranking citizens so that those at the very top do not need to weaponize what they do not have against them. So if I do for 10 people or 5 people, another higher ranking do for 10 people, 15 people, like that, you are just effecting whatever change you can in your immediate society. Before you know, you have a community or a society of at least, if not all higher ranking, middle ranking, such that the lower ranking cannot be used as weapons against whether the middle or the higher ranking.
I agree with you. And, just to add to what you said, one of the things I think has really weighed down Nigeria is that we don't use our best 11 for anything. We don't use our best. You actually pull that. I was telling some friends that as good as Kanu, Nwako, with absolute and total respect to him, as good as JJ Okocha were, as talented as they were not even the best at that time. You understand? If you go to Ajegunle, you still see that's how gifted Nigeria is. We should start using our best for everything, and so we're going to call it a wrap there. Debo, Adedayo, Mr. Macaroni, as we all call it, fantastic guy.
Thank you. You are doing well.
Yeah, thank you for coming to Atlantic Discussion. I'm not going to be a regular. I'm going to be calling on you every now and then.
We are together. I'm sure by the next one we'll be doing, I might be in Nigeria by then.
No problem.
I'll feel more at home.
No problem.
Thank you.
Even though you're a thespian, you've spoken like an intellect, a proper intellect, a true Nigerian, which is a reflection of who we are as Nigerians, Nigerians are the most educated migrating bloc to about 2, one will even say 3 of the 7 continents in the world. Not America, we need that for a fact. We're the most educated migrating bloc. So we need to put that figures into action. So it's a wrap there. We're going to close for today. Debo, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
To all the people all over the world, thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your subscription. Thank you for being constant like the Northern Star. We're always true to power. That's our credo. Debo has spoken like one great guy, fantastic guy, and it's a wrap. Thank you, everybody. Bye for now.
Yeah, doing well. Bye.